Hey, what's up everybody? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Robot Damashii, or the Robot Spirits, Wing Gundam. This is the Endless Waltz version. Highly sought after. It is a collector shop exclusive. No number there. Very cool figure. Everybody really likes this. Not everybody, but just about everybody really likes this design for the Wing Gundam. The Wing Gundam, or the Wing Zero, has the angel wings, and this one does not. Those are both the Endless Waltz versions. This version of the Wing Gundam has a lot more similarities to the Wing Zero, whereas the standard versions of the Wing and Wing Zero, not all that similar. This guy's face, basically everything but the wings is really similar to the Wing Zero. So that's something to note. I personally really like the design. I really like that head design. And then just, it's so colorful. I really think that stands out and looks really cool. I really like the more mecha look to the wings as compared to the angel wings, which are cool, and I will be reviewing that once the reissue comes out. I never picked it up originally, so I'll be reviewing that one, but this one is still my favorite. He stands roughly 5¼ inches tall at the top of his head, a little bit taller to the wings. And like I said, he's just loaded with color. The paint could be a little bit better. Some of the yellows are not quite as clean as I would like, but they're not horrible by any means. They're not really a problem, so that's okay by me. Let's run through the accessories really quickly. Of course, we do have the wings. That's technically an accessory. That backpack does disconnect. He doesn't transform though like the other figures, so that's something to note. No Neo Bird mode for him. He has this really big gun. This part spins right here. This little ammo clip spins. There is no scope coloring on there. I don't know if that was an error or what, but there's no green on there, unfortunately. Does have the yellow and does have this hinged piece here to kind of cover the hands or to move up if you want to bend his bicep up. He holds it just fine right there. So a really cool gun. It's really big, almost as tall, actually taller than he is. So if you put it in his hand, I don't have the right hand on there right now, this kind of goes over the forearm, and then if you bend the bicep up, this can just move up to account for that. So that's kind of cool. He does have the shield here. This one doesn't have any hinging or anything going on. It does have this piece, which you simply peg in here, and that's how it connects to the arm. So it's articulated in that way. You can move it around that way, and I don't know why they did it like this, but it has two little tabs that have to peg into the arm, and those peg in on the back of the arm there and on this side of the arm here. So it's kind of tricky to get it in just right, but those both peg in at the same time, and then the shield goes on. And then you can kind of fold it this way, and it just tucks over all of this here. It is kind of bulky though, and it does tend to get in the way. So it's a little tricky to pose him with the shield on, but you can work around it and make it happen. He does come with a beam saber, of course. It separates, and it's a really nice translucent green, and there is a spot in the shield for the beam saber handle, which just pegs in like that. So that's kind of nice. He has a little piece like this to go into his butt so that you can, where's it go? How's it go? Oh, that's right, it doesn't go into his butt this time. It goes up here. I've been looking at way too many Robot Damashii figures lately. They're all starting to blur together. So that goes in there, and then you can put the stage in him like that, so you can put him in a really cool flying pose. And then the last accessory he has, or accessories, are these spare ammo clips, and these snap onto his forearms. All you have to do is fold these things this way. Can they go all the way back? No, they can't. So fold those things forward and snap these on. And again, it gets kind of cumbersome, really, with the wings and the big shoulder pads. But you can snap these on here, and then you can still use the shield. The only problem is for the shield, it has to go on the bottom like this. So again, it gets really, really cumbersome. Then you can fold that one forward and snap this on this side. And then you can still use the gun also. Wouldn't be much point in using the ammo clips without the gun. Of course, there's no issue really with the gun there, but he does get really bulky and kind of uncoordinated, really. I think it wouldn't be very easy to maneuver, but that's just me. So I would probably leave those off, even though they look cool. He's already a little bit tricky to pose, but I think you can get around it. Then we have hands, which I don't know if you count these as accessories, I guess you should. So you have the 2 fist hands, and then of course we have the 2 weapon holding hands, standard for Robot Damashii. And then we have the jazz hands for the style poses, of course. So very good there. Let's go ahead and run through the articulation for this figure. The head and neck have the standard ball peg combination. You know, maybe, I don't think so. I think they're both ball pegs, technically double ball pegs. So you can move the head around just fine, side to side, up and down. Doesn't look as far up as I would like, but it does look up a little bit. Looks down pretty well. These shoulder things get in the way because he has the extra little red cheek things on there, so that does limit the articulation a little bit. And the cheek things also limit the fact that these can hinge open to reveal the little guns that are in his shoulders. So you can't really get to those as well as I would like. I don't know how they could have fixed that. Maybe cut like a little notch out or something in the yellow part. But those are there. Shoulders are ball pegs that are on a kind of a butterfly joint that goes vertically. So ball peg on top of that, get pretty good range of motion out of it. The shoulder pads are hinged individually from the shoulders. And then of course the shoulders can move on their own. Be mindful of these though, they tend to get in the way. And I don't know why, but the shoulders cannot go any higher up than that unless you move the butterfly joint. So I guess that's okay, but it's a little curious to me. We have a bicep swivel right there where the white meets the gray. Double jointed elbow gives you really good range of motion, no problem, as is normal for the Robot Damashii. And then for the wrists, we have a double ball peg, which kind of extends. You can pull that out a little bit to get a little bit better range of motion. You see how that kind of pushes in, and then you can pull it out. That is intentional, so you can get pretty good range of motion out of that. For the torso, we do have the ab crunch, which lets him look really far forward. It works really well, and it doesn't lean back quite as far as I would like, but it does lean back as well. No side to side in the upper body, but in this lower torso joint, we do have forward, back, side to side, full swivel, no issues there. We have the sides, or the skirt armor that has the standard ball peg connections just about everywhere. And even on the back, we have a hinge, which is not that common for the wing Gundams, but he does have a hinge for the butt flap, so that's pretty good. For the hips, we have what is standard for the wing Gundams, just a ball peg, so we can go all the way forward. Once we get the skirt armor out of the way, it does get in the way a little bit, but you can get the legs up pretty far. I didn't do a very good job of it, but you can do it. He just is a little bit cumbersome with all these extra armor plates on him, so the legs are only limited by the skirt armor, which does pop off occasionally. Same thing to the side. The ball peg's pretty stiff this time on the hips, so that's good. Thigh swivel right there, double jointed knee. Really good range of motion. The kneecap does have some articulation to it. I'll show you on this side. So once you get the leg posed, you can move the kneecap around a little bit. Not a whole lot, but some. Then the ankles have really good articulation. They have the ball peg here for this front piece, which is also the peg itself can move around, and then this piece can move on the peg. This piece, sorry, bang the camera. This piece is kind of like it's not really floating, it's connected mid-joint, so we have this kind of ankle rocker going on, and then a ball peg down here, and then this piece just kind of moves around with the ankle. So you can see the articulation's really well done for this guy. The toe can go all the way forward, which I really like. Not enough of them can do that. So that goes all the way forward. Not down quite as far as I would like, but you can. It's always tricky to hold these guys just right. There, you can bring the toe down that way. So if you have the foot in place like this, you can't bring the toe down, you can bring it all the way up. But if you shift this gray piece down, you can bring the whole foot down. So that's pretty cool. I like that they incorporated that. You can kind of see inside a little bit better now. We have that ankle rocker. And then there's a ball peg underneath that to let the whole foot move around. So really, really well done. I love the ankles on this guy. They did a great job with that. And they almost always look good thanks to the way these front pieces move around. So that's a really nice job on those ankles. Let's put them back together before we look at the wings. And then the wings, not quite as impressive as some of the wings we've seen in the past, but they look good, but they don't do anything. This is all just one solid piece. There's no articulation in there at all. It looks fine, but there's nothing to it. Even this no hinges or anything in there. The only articulation we get is this hinge right here, this ball peg where it connects, and then the hinge that the ball peg is connected to. That lets it go up and down that way. So it's very limited in that regard. You should be able to get enough posing out of it to be happy with it though. I just wish there was maybe a little bit more mixed in throughout there. I don't know. It's not bad, but the wings I think could have been done a little bit better. Well, that pretty much does it, I guess, for the Endless Waltz version of the Wing Gundam. It is one of my favorites. The figure is not one of the best, but it's pretty darn good, and since it is of the Wing Gundam from Endless Waltz, I'm really happy to have it, and I have to recommend it because it does look really darn cool. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.